Canadians have held vigils in solidarity with the victims of Sunday night's terror attack at a mosque in Quebec City. A suspected far-right sympathiser has been charged with 6 counts of murder and 5 of attempted murder. 27-year-old Alexandre Bissonnette, a French-Canadian student, appeared in court yesterday.
Hey, I got a great idea. Let's get huge tidal waves of highly traumatized, broken people who generally can't read, who don't speak our language. Let's have them all come in. Well, yo, come on over then. Come on over. I'm sure you're going to integrate. No problem. Can't be done. Got to draw the line somewhere. Can't be done. Oh, politicians of Europe, you have inherited these gifts and you do not have the right to squander them for the sake of political correctness. You do not have that right! Hi everybody, this is Stefan Molyneux from Free Domain Radio. Hey, are you concerned about rape culture? I know I am. Somebody else on the planet also concerned with rape culture, Tony Bugle. Thank you so much for taking the time today, Tony. I wonder if you can tell us how many girls, according to your calculations and statistics, are suffering from rape culture in the UK.
There's been over 1 million predominantly white girls that have been targeted, groomed, raped, trafficked, tortured.
That is a shocking statistic, all the more so because we don't see that really reflected in the mainstream media. So this is 1 million predominantly white girls groomed or raped by Pakistani men, mostly in the UK. Where is the media in all of this? Is it connecting with the people's outrage about this at all?
The media don't want to touch it.
Appalling abuse of at least 1,400 children.
And I can tell you that there is a problem.
How bad is it, and has the message got across?
The large-scale child abuse in Rotherham.
I myself was raped when I was 15. They weren't Muslims who raped me. However, it did force me into a position of being homeless on the streets.
Tonight, my guest is Tony Bugle. At age 15, you were violently raped by a Pakistani Muslim gang. And because of that, you've pretty much dedicated your entire life with your organization, M.A.R.I.A.S.
I like a multicoloured country. A multicultural country, I don't like. There are cultures that do not fit. It does not fit. And if they're not going to adapt our culture, they shouldn't be here.
Because actually do some research, right?
God bless every single person in this country, of all religions, creeds and cultures. And you know what? Even God bless the Muslims. They'll need it for when they're burning in fucking hell.
How bad is it, and has the message got across?
The large-scale child abuse in Rotherham.
You were violently raped by a Pakistani Muslim gang.
Do you have any thoughts on Angela Merkel, her behaviour, her policies?
Miss Angela Merkel. I don't understand why she has to call herself Angela when it's quite clearly Angela.
There's thousands of comments out there on Facebook, on EDL websites, everywhere that are anti-Muslim, calling to kill all Muslims in the UK, kill all Muslims everywhere.
how many girls, according to your calculations and statistics, are suffering from rape culture in the UK?
There's been over 1 million predominantly white girls.
I really want to thank you for your time, and I want to make sure we'll put links to your organization and its mission below. I strongly recommend to people check it out. I know, of course, that you've taken a lot of bullets for the cause that you believe in, and I respect that in just about everyone. A real pleasure to chat, and I hope we can do it again.
Thank you very much for having me on the show.
Thank you. A woman I was talking to the other day estimated about 1 million women have been targeted by these rape gangs and so on. Fairly shortly after I was born in Athlone, Ireland, I grew up in London and lived there until I was 11. And London has just elected its first Muslim mayor. Now, this guy, I don't know a huge amount about him, Sadiq Khan. Because I actually do some research, right? Well, in 2001, he was the lawyer for the Nation of Islam in its successful High Court bid to overturn the 15-year ban on its leader, Louis Farrakhan. In 2005 and 2008, he visited terror-charged Baba Ahmed in Wood Hill Prison. He was extradited to the US in 2012, serving time in prison before being returned to the UK in 2015. And he campaigned for the release and repatriation of Britain's last Guantanamo detainee, returned to the UK in November. And London, the city I grew up in, now has about 50% of the inhabitants are foreign-born. And I will say this, white people, you really need to listen to this. I haven't seen the research. Because I actually do some research, right? But I bet it's out there, and if you can find it, please post it in the comments below. But just off the top of your head, what percentage of Muslims do you think voted for the Muslim mayor? And what percentage of Muslims do you think voted for the white guy? You can go look it up if you want. Because I actually do some research, right? But if the data's not there, I think we all know the answer to that one. But 95, 97, 98% of blacks voted for Obama for pretty much the same reason. I last traveled to England, so I rented a cottage, and it was lovely. It was lovely. I will never be able to go home again. My history has been torn out by the roots, and we were going to go and visit Europe this summer. We wanted to visit Ireland, or it is known these days, the Emerald Isle of Somalia. And we were going to visit London, England, where I grew up. I will not. I can't go back. And that's a real shame. It's a real shame. The buses, it's funny, you know what makes you sentimental, but a lot of childhood memories of getting on those famous double-decker London buses. And now they're going to be plastered with Allah is Great by Muslims. It is a shocking and horrifying situation. Action alone will save everything we hold dear in this world. And it's not over. But there is a time for calm, and there is a time to not be calm. I think you know which time it is now. Hey, Austria, how you guys doing? How are things? What's new in your neck of the woods? You got an election coming up a couple of days from now. We don't have a choice to just return to tribal superstitions. The average IQ of people in sub-Saharan Africa is about 70. Some peg it at 80 and say, well, there's culture and this and that and the other. Okay, let's go with 80. Sweet spot for criminality is 85. That is the reality. If there was some virus in the water in Austria that was causing women in Austria, native women in Austria, to give birth to children with an IQ between 70 and 80, wouldn't you view that as a national disaster? Wouldn't you view that as a huge tragedy? Wouldn't you not expend every conceivable resource into remedying that situation? And if you bring people in, masses of people in, who are going to have lots and lots of kids, you are going to lose it all. Nature doesn't care if your civilization, your culture, your country, your history, if it all vanishes, nature doesn't care. Which begs the question, the only important question. Do you? Bonjour, mesdames et messieurs. Je m'appelle Stefan Molyneux. We're going to be talking about the French elections coming up, the most important elections, I believe, in the history of France, certainly in the history of the French Republic. And we are going to bring you as many facts as possible about the question of immigration, cultural assimilation within France. This is the big issue. More recently, a top imam told Muslim migrants to breed with Europeans to, quote, conquer their countries. Imam Sheikh Mohammed Ayed said, Europe has become old and decrepit and needs human reinforcement. Soon we will trample them underfoot, Allah willing. Throughout Europe, he said, all the hearts are enthused with hatred toward Muslims. They wish that we were dead, but they have lost their fertility, so they look for fertility in our midst. We will give them fertility. We will breed children with them because we shall conquer their countries. And migrating to spread Islam to foreign countries is considered a praiseworthy act among many Muslims. Of course, I understand that the quotes that I just read do not necessarily represent the majority of thinkers in any particular demographic. However, there are still important considerations to think of.
وسوف ننزل وسوف ننجب منهم لأننا سوف نفتح بلاد. سنطلبهم منكم قريبا.
To be so ill-mannered to interrupt a woman.
Like if I go to a French restaurant, I don't want to sit down and order Chinese. I go to a French restaurant because I want to eat French food. And people move to France because it's French. So don't change it. Even for the immigrants who come, who value France, you don't have the right to change it for them, and you sure as hell don't have the right to change it. This is a problem that needs to be solved. It's okay to love your country. It's okay to love your history. It's okay to love your culture. In fact, it's pretty essential. We're tribal animals. We know that. Take pride. Protect. Defend. Maintain. For God's sake, get out and vote for the right candidate. Remember, the smartest people in the Middle East left the Middle East a long time ago. We are down now to the dregs. And of course, we all heard, oh, Syrians, highly educated, boy, they're going to be the future doctors and engineers and all kinds of great stuff. No, 65% of Syrian refugees can't even read or write. Germans, very, very intelligent group. What's great is the degree to which German kids now have to have their curriculum dumbed down because of an influx of kids who've barely got an education. Oh, yeah, sorry, younger Germans, it's a shame. You know, you might want to have kids, you know, because having kids is a wonderful thing. Sorry, you can't have kids because, you see, you have to pay for the 18,000 children from Syria that come in every second minute. Come on in, immigrants. We need fresh blood. Grandpa needs some corpuscles. I gotta tell you, but I actually care a little bit more about my own children than the children of foreigners. Well, Steph, by God, you know, we can't judge Muslims as a group. Well, you gotta judge people as individuals, and even if some individuals are doing bad things, you can't possibly judge the whole group. The conclusion is absolutely certain that Germany, as it has constituted itself for the past few hundred years, will cease to exist in its current form. An excess of empathy is a sin and a crime.
The little boy whose lifeless body was washed ashore.
Of course, women look at that and say, that could be my child. And they feel an outpouring of sympathy and affection, but it's blind as hell when it comes to dealing with hostile cultures. Oh, you know, a kid drowned, and of course nobody wants a kid to drown. It's a terrible thing to happen. People die all the time in the world. If you want to help people from Syria, then here's what you do. Invite them into your house. Pay for them yourself. Do not burden the public purse. Oh, they can all come in, but then they'll become just like Germans. Really, really. It's not that easy to blend when you don't look the same. So either they're going to bring their wives, in which case they're going to start breeding. Low IQ cultures, they just have kids and 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 have kids. Just breed like crazy. So either they bring their wives or they don't bring their wives, in which case you have a lot of unattached young men, no dating prospects. What happens then? Angela Merkel doesn't have any kids. The fuck does she care? She doesn't have any daughters who are going to grow up to be raped by these people.
Migration of Muslims from Syria and...
To be fair, not that many of them are coming from Syria. So no, it's not Assyrian refugees that are pouring into Europe.
Judging by the headline, they're in a horrible war-torn country and why...
Yeah, and it's not the case. You have to turn the boats back. Turn them back! And you have no problem. But that kind of resolution makes girly women and girly men go, oh no, the poor needy people. They're crying. They're holding out their hands beseechingly. Oh my God. But what would have happened across Europe if someone had come and said they'd just set up big machine guns? I'm not saying I'm approving of all of this, you understand? I'm just talking about this is the reality of law. And said, you must turn back or we shoot. Then they would have to shoot over their heads, and if they continued to come, then they would have had to shoot into the crowd. Then there would have been a dozen or 24 bodies, which would have been tragic. But it would have been suicide by cop. You know, if I grab a toy gun and run at a cop and he shoots me, well, that's natural. And if a bunch of people are breaking the laws and invading a country, then you might have to use violence to prevent them from coming in. And that would have been terrible. But that would have been something that the migrants would have chosen through the continued action against the laws of the countries they sought to invade. Sometimes I really hate being a philosopher, particularly a very good philosopher, which I am. This show is going to succeed because this is what the world absolutely, desperately, and completely needs for its own survival. Governments have nuclear weapons. I better have some good fucking reasons behind what I'm saying. So I better bring my best game to this fight. I'm standing here and I'm defending what is left of civilization from what is less civilized. I'm defending women and children and helpless men and the old from the people who are coming in whose ideology specifically demands that they wish us harm. Our ancestors fought against tyranny and murder, and it's our job to keep it going. That is the job. We inherit this incredible gift called freedom. That is your one job. It is far less than what our ancestors did to achieve the civilization that we are so relentlessly squandering away. In cowardice, in silence, in shaming anybody who speaks the truth about the world. We need to think outside the box, because the box is actually a coffin. And we are running out of light.